Arthritis is always associated with older people without knowing that it can also affect children. So just like the other arthritis, there's a condition also known as juvenile arthritis, which affects the joints of children, causing pain, swelling, as well as stiffness. Now, while medical treatment is important, nutrition also plays a crucial role when it comes to managing its condition. And today on HealthAfrik, we'll be discussing juvenile arthritis associated with nutrition. We want to understand how we can support children in this condition in terms of what they should eat, as well as what they should avoid. My name is Isabella Teta Henakwa, and you're welcome to HealthAfrik. This program is brought to you by the Association of African Universities. We'll go for a break. When we come back, I'll introduce our guests to you and start with the discussion. Please stay tuned. You're welcome back from the break, and if you just joined, this is HealthAfrik. You can also follow the discussions on our social media handles at Association of African Universities, both on Facebook and YouTube. Before we went for break, I mentioned that today we'll be discussing juvenile arthritis, and it's a privilege to have here with us a registered dietitian who goes by the name Aldi Isimaba Sewa Asiam. Yes, welcome to HealthAfrik.
Thank you very much.
Before we start the discussion, I'd like you to briefly tell us more about yourself.
Thank you. So my name is Ismaba Sewa Esiam.
Okay.
I currently work with Norfolk Clinic, an orthopedic and rheumatology and general medicine clinic at Osu, Sunkwa.
Okay. Yes. Just to dive in, what pushed your interest in this field?
What pushed my interest in this field? Actually, I have a background in food science.
Okay.
And during one of our projects, a question was asked, what is the relevance of a particular nutrient in my product? And that's where it sparked my interest in nutrition, to understand what the impact our nutrients in the food have on our body. Exactly. So after my undergrad, I went on with my master's and specialized in dietetics.
Okay, this actually proves that we have the reliable source for today's topic. Now, we are talking about arthritis, and not just arthritis, but juvenile arthritis. And when we talk about this condition, we will most, like I made mention, associate it with older people without thinking about children. Now, let us understand what juvenile arthritis is, and also how does it affect children.
Okay. So in a simple term, I would say that juvenile arthritis or arthritis is a chronic autoimmune disease, which basically is when your immune system actually attacks your body instead of fighting off diseases or infections from the outside. So it's not supposed to do that. But unfortunately, we have some conditions where your body attacks your own body, which is the joint in this case. And the result is inflammation, which is associated with symptoms such as swelling, pain, difficulty in moving about, especially early in the mornings or after you've rested.
Okay.
Yes.
No, so we are talking about children.
Yes.
So which age limit or age range are we looking at?
Okay. So usually it happens to children below the age of 16 and below.
16?
Yes.
Okay.
Below 16. Okay. And it's unusual because, you know, with children, they are active, they are active and robust. Yeah. And if such a condition affects them, it's quite unusual.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Talking about it's quite unusual. You know, mostly when we visit the hospital, they do say, why have you waited till this time, or why have you waited till it got worse before coming to the hospital? You made mention of some of the symptoms, which are pain, inflammations, and all that. But what are some of the early symptoms we should look for? Like you made mention, children are very active. Maybe she's feeling pain. We may think she hit her leg on something, that's why she's feeling this pain. So with juvenile arthritis, what are some of the early symptoms and signs we should look for?
Okay, so I believe that the first thing that you should look out for is you can compare. Is my child always complaining? Is it consistent? Is it all the time? It's true that sometimes they play, they hit their legs here and there, but when it comes to swelling, Swelling usually occurs when maybe you've twisted, like the injury is very serious. You've twisted it, your leg or something, and it's swelling. Pains too sometimes if they are always complaining and they don't know how. Oh, today it's my knee, tomorrow it's my ankle, tomorrow is my elbow, and it's persistent. Yes. So something like that, it should prompt you, the parent, to quickly maybe take the child to the hospital to find out what exactly is happening. And there's also the fact that if there's anyone in your family that has arthritis, there's a possibility that it's in the family and it's hereditary. So any of your offsprings
could get
that,
could
develop that.
Yeah, I like the fact you mentioned the knee, the leg, as well as ankle, because we are talking about joints. So I want us to clarify when it comes to juvenile arthritis. So it happens in all joints, no matter where it is.
It depends, but the common ones would be your knee. Yes, the common ones that I'm aware of. Like I see a lot of people using the complain about the knee.
All right. We are associating arthritis to nutrition and the right food to take to manage this condition. Before we dive deeper into these types of food, I'm sure people will ask how does, or what's the relationship between nutrition to that of joint pain. Let's clear some of the myths as well as misconceptions. It's your field, and I know you do hear of a lot of things about this. Share with us some of these myths, as well as just give us the fact about them.
Okay, so when it comes to arthritis and nutrition, nutrition is very important. The types of foods that your child is consuming could affect, could either make the symptoms worse or could help prevent or lessen the degree of pain or the degree at which the symptoms goes. Yes, it could lessen it or make it worse. So that's how it's connected. And also children with arthritis, we have to be mindful of malnutrition. That is, if their body is getting adequate amount of nutrients so they can support their growth, because they are growing up. And if they're affected by such conditions, it's easy. It's very easy for them to be malnourished. So this is one of the reasons why. And one of the misconceptions that we have today is people believe that certain foods, when your child is given certain food, it can't cure the disease.
It
can't cure. That's what they believe. But unfortunately, research indicates that it's a chronic disease. When I say a chronic disease, it's a disease that you actually have to stay with. It stays with you. And the best way that you can live with it is by managing it appropriately. So today you feel okay, tomorrow something happens and it's just, hello, I'm still here. So that's how it happens. It goes, it comes, there are flare-ups, there are remissions, you're feeling okay, the following day you're not feeling so well and you're wondering. So that's how it is. And managing it helps avoid complications. It helps you go about your daily activities very normally. So with us healthcare professionals, what we are looking at is, when you come and visit us with such a condition, what we are looking at is, we want the outcome to be like, oh, at first it was bad, I couldn't move my leg, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, but ever since visiting the clinic or the hospital, now it's manageable. Maybe weekly this happens, I can't get up maybe 2 or 3 times in a week, sometimes the whole week, but now I can go a whole 1 or 2 weeks and I'm okay, or a whole half of the year and I haven't even felt anything. So it's like it gets better, but it's still there, but it's manageable and you are able to go on about with your activities.
Right, you made mention of malnutrition. Let us understand how it affects juvenile arthritis, or make it worse.
Make it worse. So malnutrition is basically when one's body is it's basically when your body, you don't provide adequate or enough or the appropriate amount of nutrients that your body requires for it to function. Yes. So when I say adequate nutrients, nutrients are common. You're talking about the carbohydrates, the vitamins, the proteins, etc., etc. So for someone who doesn't know, when I talk about carbohydrates in our local context, I'm talking about our banku, fufu, the rice, and the rest. And from the proteins, our meat and the rest. So for every individual, per your body, we usually use your weight, your height, either your age, the stage at which you are. Maybe you are a child, you are an adolescent, you are growing, you are elderly. Everyone, every individual has his or her own requirement of nutrients.
Okay.
So if you're able to know exactly the range or the amount you're supposed to get at this stage, and you're able to eat adequately to provide that for your body, then your body would have enough to be able to go on doing all that it wants to do. So wound healing is one of them. We have growing for kids. We have protection against diseases. So if your body is able to produce adequate, you should be safe. Yes. So that's what
talking about nutrition as well as nutrients, so you made mention of some of them. Which specific foods are we looking at in terms of children in this condition? Which of them should they eat to get which particular nutrients to help manage their condition?
So when it comes to juvenile arthritis, the best foods or the food that we recommend for kids are usually the anti-inflammatory foods.
Okay.
So when I talk about anti-inflammatory foods, these are foods that help prevent the symptoms associated with inflammation from becoming much more worse. Yes. So anti-inflammatory foods are basically foods we get from our vegetables, our fruits, our whole grains, and we also have healthy oils. For example, the olive oils, the ones we get from avocado, the ones we get from fishes. So in Ghana here, our fresh fishes. So our mackerels, the ones you get from the cold stores. So these are good sources of these oils that can be included in your child's diet. And we talked about the fruit and vegetables too. So these are foods in general that has to be a major component in your child's diet. And we also have the pro-inflammatory. So these are foods that actually kickstart the inflammation. Sometimes you are okay, but you end up eating certain foods. The following day you get up and then it's worse. So it tends to kickstart it. Or when you are in that period and you eat it, it tends to worsen your conditions. So we are looking at foods high in sugars, especially the refined sugars. So sugar is number one. We have the high corn fructose syrup, which is commonly found in most of our processed foods. So our juices, our drinks, our biscuits, these are sources. So any food that when you taste, maybe you buy from the supermarket or the supermarket or the provision shop that has sugar in it, yes, these are foods that you have to be very mindful of. And then we also have saturated fats, excessive intake of saturated fats, but the one that is very dangerous and very problematic is the trans fats. So when we talk about trans fats, it's basically the normal fat or oils that we have, maybe the palm oil, the normal vegetable-based oils that we have, that has been highly processed with heat. So much heat has gone into its preparation that it has changed the natural,
taking out the nutrients,
taking out some of the nutrients, has changed the natural state of the fat, then it becomes trans fat. So when you consume such foods, your body usually doesn't know how to how do I manage, how do I use this? Yes, and it kickstarts that inflammation. So you have to be mindful of that. So we recommend whether you have to avoid it or limit it, but limiting it is how many people, like how you can only limit it. Sometimes avoiding it totally is very difficult. Yes, and you can get trans fat from fried foods. You can get it from the pastries. Pastries, margarines are used to make pastries, and it's baked, so heat is applied there. We have the fried foods over there. So when I say fried food, I'm sure somebody is thinking, hey, so my stew in the house, I fry my oil and that. You can try and limit the fried food to the home cooked meals. And be mindful of the foods that you eat outside the home. If you find yourself in this category, you and your family and your children, almost all the time buying food from outside, deep fried foods. So we have plenty.
A lot of fast foods.
The fast foods. Yes, and you are consistently and always consuming food from those areas. Then this information is for you.
Very true. Very, very true. Now, before we go for break, I know growing up, when we talk about bone issues, joint issues, we always look at calcium, that's food from the nutrient from bony foods. Is this also considered as one of the safe food, or some of the food which children can eat?
So the children are growing, and as you said, it's important. Proteins and minerals such as calcium is important for them for their bones. And common sources would be the milk. Like the milk we get calcium from milk, from our meat, from our protein. It's basically in the protein source from our eggs. Yes. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We'll go for a break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
African University's television, AUTV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AUTV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
You're welcome back from the break, and thank you for sticking with us. Today we are discussing juvenile arthritis with RD Sewa from NAFOD Clinic. Before we went for break, we looked at what juvenile arthritis is, as well as some of the common symptoms associated with it, and also the type of, since we are looking at this related to nutrition, we also looked at some of the food children should be eating to manage their condition and the food they should avoid. We are going to continue the discussion looking at food supplements as well as other topics that are needed. Hello. Thank you for sticking with us. So you made mention of some of the food kids should be eating to help them manage their condition in terms of juvenile arthritis. You know, these days a lot of kids are allergic to some food which actually gives them specific nutrients which are also needed in terms of growing and maturity. Others will prefer food supplements to get these nutrients. Would you recommend this for a parent in terms of the kind of food they should eat?
Okay, so the first thing that you would have to know is when a child is allergic to a specific type of food, fortunately we have alternatives. So for example, if your child is allergic to pineapple, which is a good source of vitamin C, when you see the dietitian, we can recommend other sources that he or she could get vitamin C from, such as oranges, such as these berries and all of that. But in case of supplements, in our practice, supplements, we usually use it in a clinical setting for clients or patients who are malnourished. Maybe their labs came out and they are they are low on specific vitamins or nutrients. We use those supplements to quickly bring those back up. And when the person is in a good state, then he's back to his normal food. So supplements, it's only prescribed in a clinical setting per the healthcare professional's discretion. So I would advise that parents shouldn't on their own go out there and get supplements for their kids unless it's being prescribed by a healthcare professional. Because many a times when our clients are on supplements, they don't eat well. They are always like, oh, it's okay, let me skip breakfast or let me skip lunch. Oh, I'm already taking this multivitamin and all of that. It will replace it or something of that sort. But you see, when you're eating, it's supposed to be a balanced meal. You are eating your banku okro with your fish in there. You are getting some from the banku, the okro, everything. You are getting a whole variety of nutrients from that one meal. But with that particular supplement, sometimes, you know, they write it, oh, vitamin B, this. It's giving you just a specific amount of nutrients. So what about the rest? So because of that, we don't usually encourage you to give supplements to your kids. And sometimes too, you can take the supplement and to go over the amount that your child needs, and we call that the toxicity level. So something that's supposed to be given, supposed to be good for your child, might be causing something else for your child. So we
You
usually
wouldn't recommend that.
I would say get a prescription.
Okay.
Let it be prescribed by a healthcare professional so that they can monitor how it's impacting your child's life.
Okay. So this goes to our parents who take things into their hands. You shouldn't, by your own means, give food supplements to your kid if they're allergic to some food. You should go to the doctor and get that prescription rather than doing it by yourself. So mentioning some of the foods parents should avoid giving their kids to worsen their case in terms of juvenile arthritis. You mentioned sugars. You know, when it comes to kids, and then managing their intake of sugar, it is very, very difficult. They always prefer foods that have lots of sugar than food that is going to help them. What tip would you give to a parent who is trying to ensure that the kid is given like the right diet to manage their condition?
Okay, so the key is moderation.
Okay.
We wouldn't outrightly say eliminate sugars from your child, but moderation.
Okay.
And when I talk about moderation, let's minimize. So for example, because of we don't have time, let's buy a carbonated
Soda,
beverage, like a carbonated beverage with some form of pastry or something. Instead of that, you can just try maybe some fruits, healthy option, some fruit or healthy option. And also when it comes to the sugars, we have good sources. The fruits are good sources of these sugars, which provide good energy for a child. They are also providing other sources of nutrients as well, And when it comes to sugars too, again, I would say that try as much as possible to let your child eat from the house, from the home. Eat the normal local foods that we have. Your porridges, a little bit of sugar in there. Some parents replace the sugar with fruits, so some people can blend some banana in there, or they can just do maybe their own special fruits ice cream in the house. So for example, mango with milk, you blend it, you freeze it. It's a healthy alternative, but you can't totally avoid it. There are times that you go for a birthday party, you know, times that you are running late. It's okay to, if that's what's available, it's fine, but don't. It's moderation. Yes.
All right. I like you made mention that because sometimes parents do not have time, they prefer this canned foods and quick snacks and all that, which contains food that they should avoid.
So much sugar.
So what dietary plan would you recommend, or patterns would you recommend to a parent watching you now?
So I can't give a general diet plan or meal guide right now without knowing the condition the child has. So it's all about the condition the child has. It's all about the labs. It's all about the family situation, your economic situation, the food that are available, the kinds of food you eat in the house. Sometimes for religious purpose, because of their religion, they don't eat certain food. So it's best to do an in-person consultation or in-person review with the client to be able to give a specific, or in this case we'll call it a customized or a personalized meal plan for the child. Yes, but in general, that's why I've spoken the kinds of food you should be mindful of and all of that. I've spoken a bit about that. But if you want a detailed plan, if you want more help, more support, if you feel like this information is so huge, how do I even go about it? It's best to see your family dietitian, or we can visit us at Nuffield Clinic and we can help you with that.
All right. And still on support, you know, when it comes to managing this condition, it doesn't only rely on the parents. Kids go to school, they go to churches, and some of these schools actually feed these children as well, their feedings and all that. So what advice would you give to these care supporters in schools, churches, and all that? What would you advise to them?
So that's one of the major areas that we are lacking a lot in when it comes to support, because there are so many kids out there with GIA that their teachers, their schools, their churches, these care helps or caregivers or who help alongside are not aware of. So it's advisable that as a parent, if your child has such a condition, you have to let the educators know about it. Yeah. So that if they are there and there is a flare-up or something, they would quickly know what to do. And also they can also monitor their intake. You know, there are some kids, they go to school, they're exchanging their snacks with their friends. Yeah. Yes, my mom doesn't give me this drink. She only gives me once in a week. And before you realize, you don't know, she's taking all these things in the school. The whole week she will take these drinks, and you're wondering where it's coming from. So they monitor it and they help make sure that that doesn't happen. And also, especially with the kindergartens, they put in much more effort so that the child is able to eat the food that you have provided. They ensure that the child eats everything, so that when you're at work, you know that, oh, my child is eating very well. So these are the ways that these our educators, our churches, they can help with children.
Yeah, very true. Okay, and still on raising awareness, and before we wrap up, I see you are in a branded t-shirt.
Yes.
Tell us what NAFOD Clinic is doing about juvenile arthritis.
Okay, so we started creating awareness in July, and it's ongoing up until December. We realized that there's a lot of misconception out there about kids getting arthritis, and it's part of our responsibility to create awareness. So we started with education on these topics. A lot of people have questions, so we're moving to stations, radio, TV, creating this awareness. We've had a couple of them with the rheumatologist, the specialist at NAFOD, with the physiotherapy department, and now the nutrition department, and it's ongoing. So we are calling all parents and guardians out there to listen to the pain that their children can't explain. And if you have any of these, if your child is experiencing any of these, it should come to mind that probably it could be GIE. We also invite you to visit our clinic. So NAFOD Clinic is at Osu, Sunkwa Road. Yes, we work from Mondays to Saturdays. Yes, so you come in there, you can book, you can see a specialist, you can see a dietitian, and we can give you the best care.
All right. Thank you very much, Adi Sewa. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing insights on juvenile arthritis. We hope to see you again in our studio.
Okay.
And this brings us to the end of today's discussion, where we talked about juvenile arthritis. Of course, there are a lot of things you can't explain when it comes to children. You see them crying and you're wondering what is wrong, what is going on, where the pain is actually at. This is a great opportunity for you to pass through NAFOD Clinic to book an appointment and talk to a specialist to help you know what is wrong with your kid. This program is brought to you by the Association of African Universities. My name is Isabella Titahinapa. See you again in another episode. Do have a great day.